And now, your official TigerBait postgame show with Mike Scarborough and Preston Guy starts now.
All right, everybody, we decided we're going to get this one off early tonight, and we're going to have all of our postgame, but all of our postgame video, locker room video, instant analysis, postgame stories, all that'll be up after the fact. We needed to get this one and go live as soon as possible. LSU totally outclassed in Oxford. They lose 24-19, just on both sides of the ball. Nothing elite about LSU on either side of the ball. I think there were times in the first half where the defense did what they needed to do, but a lot of boneheaded penalties. Both teams were heavily penalized, but Ole Miss certainly overcame them. And again, a running quarterback gives LSU fits. Look, I don't want to hear any excuses for Garrett Nussmeier. He is 100%. There's no torso issue anymore. It is what it is. Aaron Anderson's hurt. And why is he hurt? He's probably hurt because of being hung out to dry by Nussmeier throws, several of them. One of them, they put him in the position he was in with a soreness, and then got finished off by another ball that was thrown behind him. It's just there's a lack of accuracy from Garrett Nussmeier, no running game, his inability to run the football. Look, if I'm Austin Thomas and Frank Wilson and the entire LSU staff, I never, ever recruit a quarterback who is not a true dual threat and a threat to run the football in college football. You saw what a guy like that does against LSU and Shambliss. They made him look like the Heisman Trophy candidate tonight. Preston, go ahead and give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, overall, this is a game that was miraculous. It was as close as it was. Ole Miss dominated you in this football game. They had 480 yards to your 254. And there's a lot of problems. You can nitpick a few on defense for sure. The mid-range coverage gave you a lot to be desired. The fact that they knew it was going to be a one-dimensional approach on that final drive and you couldn't stop them running the ball. You knew Lane Kiffin was having an offense with a lot of misdirections and motions, and this team was just off kilter. But here's the deal, Mike. You held a dynamic, elite Ole Miss offense to 24 points. You had two crucial turnovers in this game. The defense did a lot to like today. That offense was putrid. And 19 points, they're lucky to have gotten what they got. This is among the worst games I've seen Nussmeier have. And if he's healthy, then he's just bad. Okay. I don't think he looked like a healthy quarterback today. You can say the torso injuries moved on, whatever. He can't throw the ball more than 15 yards with any accuracy, and he was able to do that.
Preston, I'm flat out telling you, the coach that matters on that side of the ball flat out told me last weekend in Tiger Stadium that torso injury is 100% and is a non-factor. That was a week ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, then he's bad, Mike. Like that's somehow we got a quarterback that went from being good to bad. I have no flipping clue what his health is, but I'm gonna tell you this: that didn't look like a healthy quarterback. He couldn't complete the ball more than 15 yards. Horrible accuracy, missed touchdowns, interception where he had an open player and he just short arms it. He duck balls it. I mean, he looked bad, and 21 of 34 for 197 with a touchdown and interception. That's generous. That makes it look a lot better than it is. So essentially you have an offense that can't run the ball. You ran for 57 yards today, which the only time you ran the ball effectively was when you turned to Harlem Berry late in the game. And even that left a lot to be desired, as you could see. And you have an offense that can't pass the ball more than 15 yards down the field. So what are you left with? Dink and dunk bubble screams like some Harvey High School offense out there. It's not good, and something has to change. Man. No, but I mean, what's different?
You're not pining for the Cam Cameron days right now?
Do we get Mettenberger, Odell Beckham, and Jarvis Landry too?
Yeah.
Because I'll take that. I'll take that 20.
A little gallows humor there, so to speak, with that one, with that meme. Yeah. All right, everybody, let's dive in. We got a lot of people in here. Y'all hit the like button if you're enjoying the show. We're going to go for at least an hour for sure. And all right, I have a super chat. I saw it here. Michael D, need to fire Kelly. Can't win big games with this guy. Look, I just feel like since Brian Kelly's been here, it's one step forward, one step back, two steps forward, a step back, two steps forward, two steps back. It's just you put your finger in one hole and stop the leak, and then you got two more over here. When are you ever going to have the complete team? We thought that this was a complete team. When you look at this team across the board and the who's who, I will say this. Heck, Preston, I remember you looking at me like outside-eyed. Everybody was back in the spring when I thought that one of the, would they saying out loud on multiple shows that would they go and get in the portal and get a running back in the spring? I thought it made sense.
After you lose 3 guys, that makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you're also calling a question now where your 2 go-to running backs are a wide receiver and a former option quarterback who's now at his 4th position group on your roster.
That's problematic.
It also points to running back recruiting. And if you want to get into the Trey Holly thing and the Lindsey, well, then we can also say maybe you didn't do your character study on people. They're not there for a reason. Okay. All right. Michael D, thanks for that super chat. So with Brian Kelly, this offense and us, this was a painful watch of the Saints on offense this year. Andy Whitaker, this is the worst offensive line I can remember us having. Absolutely. Get a new quarterback, says guess why. Chicago Cheetah, we all saw the writing on the wall with this offense. Is Brian Presser's live? We're not carrying it live, but we will have the video of it immediately following. We will have it uploaded for you. It concerns me that we don't have an answer with the offense. The defense have done their job all season. Look, I think the defense was just out of gas. I mean, Preston, when you look at the number of plays, what's the total plays, by the way?
By the way, the first half they had it was 49 in the first half. It ended up being 84. You can't have your defense out there 84 plays.
No. And at the end of the game, they were out of gas.
Right.
And look, it's not like it was an excellent performance by the defense, period. But I mean, look, they had their moments, and then they'd get a West Weeks penalty that would extend a drive that was boneheaded. I mean, they shot themselves in the foot when there was multiple times where that defense had done the job, and they should have been able to have gotten out of there. But I tell you what, it was this Ole Miss team is going to do some damage. They're going to go far because they've got that swagger where if it's 3rd and long, their confidence level of converting a 3rd and long is high. Meanwhile, LSU's going for 2-point conversions and handing the ball off. The most asinine 2-point conversion play call I've ever seen.
I mean, you've ran the ball for 57
You have
yards.
no running game. You've had no running game.
57 flipping yards, and you're going to call a run in that situation? Really?
Yeah.
You think you can get 3 yards confidently? Look, I mean, I understand it was a fancy motion draw, and you were thinking that they would be banking on it. Man, it doesn't matter what the defense is banking on. You can't run the ball. By the way, the most infuriating part, I'm going to point out the sole biggest flaw of today, and there's a lot of them, but the biggest flaw, you can't give Nussmeier 3 seconds to pass against a 3-man pass rush. You should be embarrassed about that. That is nothing but poor coaching, poor adjustments. You've got guys on an island out wide getting whooped by Deshaun Womack. By the way, that's a true freshman playing right tackle, and he's been rotating, playing a bunch of position. You probably should have known the true freshman would need a little help and slide your protection accordingly, but instead he's getting sacked on a 3-man rush. You know, it takes a little time to find an open receiver when there's 8 men dropped in zone coverage. There's not much spaces in between those zones. You got to buy them that 4th second. You can't get them to the 3rd second. So that is inexcusable. I mean, and the fact that this is a 4th-year head coach, 5th-year offensive line coach, and we're still seeing that those problems, that starts to become a reflection of the guy running that unit. I'm just saying, this is abysmal. And I just don't know how you're going to win very many games if you can't block a 3-man rush.
All right, let's hear from attorney Kenneth Haines. Of course, the greatest lawyer in the state of Louisiana and one of my best friends, and a big sponsor of this show. And let's hear from Kenny.
Kenny Haines is a proud 1989 graduate of LSU Law School with a passion for justice. Kenny stands out as the only lawyer in the state, board certified in both appellate practice and family law. Drawing from 34 years of trial experience, Kenny has navigated the most complex aspects of real people's lives. If you need help in Northwest Louisiana with a family issue, legal issue, or a highly skilled trial attorney, call Kenny 318-222-2100.
There you have it. And of course, Kenny is the unofficial official lawyer of TigerBait.com, and he reserves the right to think most clearly for a paying client. And we're also brought to you each and every week by Genesis of Lafayette.
Drive-in style and luxury with a new Genesis from Genesis of Lafayette. Buy a 2023 Genesis G70 3.3T Sport Prestige Executive Demo and pay only $39,870. Buy a new 2025.
Yeah, I'm running the wrong commercial, Preston. This is what I meant to click on. The 2025 Genesis GV80 at 2.99 APR for 60 months. You can't beat it. You got to get over to Genesis of Lafayette. Huge LSU fans. Jaron Guidry, the sales manager, they're going to go the extra mile. They've got LSU fans that have come in from all over the state of Louisiana. There is a reason why they sell more Genesis vehicles than any other dealership in the state of Louisiana. 6600 Johnson Street in Lafayette. Trust me, it's worth the trip to Lafayette. It's worth checking out genesisoflafayette.com. Give them a call, 877-856-2961. Schedule your test drive. That new GV80, the GV70, leaders in their class for small, mid-size SUVs. The bang for your buck with those luxury SUVs is uncomparable. All right, let's get some more questions and comments in here.
Y'all work with us tonight. We got Joe Sloan calling the ads for us.
Yeah. Jay Robert, offensive coordinator, to be given a one-way ticket anywhere. The one, what's Brian Kelly going to cry about post-game tonight? Yeah,
Cobble should lead off and ask about the offense.
If one of the first questions is from one of my friends in the media about the running game and the lack of offense, do they get their head chewed off? Yeah, a lot of people upset with Joe Sloan.
Seems like a more reasonable question from Michael Cobble 2 weeks ago at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah. And look, it's. I mean, I totally recalibrate my season outlook for LSU after the win over the Clemson, and then as these weeks have gone by, and certainly the loss tonight. Look, I can't get away with it. I did it one time. I'm not going to go from 9-3 to 11-1, and now to back to 9-3.
Right.
But you can see where there's some real trouble here. I haven't even been paying attention. Yeah, it's a final. A&M beat Auburn. Okay. A&M's going to give you all you want. Vanderbilt's going crazy. Yeah. What's that? You got a lot of tough games coming.
Oh, yeah. Look at this. You got to go South Carolina, Vanderbilt, who, by the way, hung 55 points today on Utah State, Texas A&M, and then Alabama. I mean, that's a tough slate. I'll say this. You get two of those at home, one of those in Nashville for Vanderbilt, which shouldn't be tough. The only tough road environment is going to be Alabama, but that is going to be a brutal 4-game stretch, and you've got to fix this offense. You need to win 10 football games this year to make it to the playoffs. So you got one game to blow, and if you don't fix this offense the way they're running, you're not going to do that.
Who's had a better week than Lane Kiffin? Huh?
I mean, outside of the
I
documentary,
mean, you got a great E60 documentary that paints him in a great light, and he's turned the corner and maturity and all that.
Yeah.
Great hype on that. Beats number 4 LSU at home.
I mean,
Nobody's won more games as a head coach at Ole Miss than him since he's been there. They're going to be partying hard in Oxford tonight. Joe Sloan and us need to go. Corey David, is that basically sums up about 80% of the comments in our chat tonight.
Let me ask you this, Mike, because we haven't talked about it, and I think this is going to be a glaring question. Should they have turned to MVB tonight?
Well, I brought it up, and it's not because look, I know the game they're playing, and I'm not going to say that Van Buren would have been the answer. Maybe bring him in for a series. I don't know. See what happens, and then putting us back in.
Hear me out.
Looking decent against Southeastern is one thing. I don't know.
Here's the deal. Your offense was anemic, and your defense was holding on by a thread because that was a good offense that Ole Miss had put together. And of course, eventually, that when you're calling a game that tight and relying on big play interceptions to save. By the way, it looks like they were driving for 2 more touchdowns. The way they were moving the ball on those turnover drives. You got to get a spark somehow, somewhere. Even if Michael Van Buren's not the better player than Nussmeier, he's a different player who brings a different skill set that they haven't prepared for, right? And I think that little spark could have changed something. I thought Nussmeier just didn't look himself tonight. Didn't look like last year. He looked like 2025 Nussmeier, not 2024 Nussmeier. And eventually you had to do something. And not to mention, Michael Van Buren can move with his legs. And frankly, at this point, with the offensive line being what it is and your running game being what it is, I'm not so certain that an extra pair of legs isn't exactly what the doctor ordered. I mean, I love Nussmeier, but he's
I know one thing. If I had been under a rock for 3 or 4 years and I tuned into college football for that one, and you said you're now the GM of an NFL team, which of these 2 quarterbacks are you going to take? It's not even close that I'm taking Chambliss over Garrett Nussmeier for my NFL team.
It's kind of crazy, but yeah, that guy's a playmaker.
Yeah.
If nothing else, you just had to do something different.
Drew Causey, Brad Davis has to go 3-man rush and multiple sacks and pressures. No more excuses for the offense. Davis goes and Sloan is on notice.
I think the way he's phrasing that, and I never call for anybody to get fired, but I think he's phrasing that pretty well. On notice, and I don't know. I'm kind of done with the offensive line and what we've seen in the last.
Look, I've been years. A guy. I probably defended Joe Sloan longer than anybody. I think there's all sorts of issues there. Brad Davis. I brought up Frank Wilson and managing the running back roster and running back recruiting. Never cared for his rotation. But he's without Caden Durham. Wide receivers have been a disappointment. Trades Green been a disappointment. Of course, he's been hurt. How many times has Bauer Sharp had a ball that's I think he's had 1 ball that's been thrown to him on the money all season long, Bauer Sharp. And you're talking about a guy who usually catches his balls from 3 to 10 yards. Right?
It's concerning. It's concerning. These are throws that just have to be basic. They have to be elementary, and they haven't been.
Yep. Aaron Jacoby, extending some drives in the first half would have been a big impact throughout the game. Absolutely. Where's it at? I missed one. LA Chris. Don't ever disrespect the great Matt Flynn to Nuss ever again. Nuss is a better variant of Jarrett Lee.
Is he talking about us? Did we compare him to Matt Flynn? I don't remember that. Yeah, I don't remember that. But thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Or is it something that Matt Flynn said about Nuss that we're missing?
Follow up with some context, and we'll address that.
L.A.
How about
Chris,
that?
explain that a little bit
Just
further.
you don't
I'm
have
not-
to super
not sure
chat
what you're
again.
saying.
Just put it in there, comment section. I'll
Yeah,
keep an
no
eye
super
out.
chat. We'll be looking for you, but thanks for the super chat. Nuss's Max Johnson says Mark Cumbie.
Very different quarterbacks.
Yeah. Nicholas Kirk, Brian Kelly is less 2.0.
This team feels
That
like
boy
a Les
Slim.
Miles
LSU will
team.
lose to Vandy, Bama, and Oklahoma. I'm gonna be curious to see what Bama does to Georgia. I'm not like everybody else. I got a sneaking suspicion that this game tonight could be crazy. I know what Alabama's looked like at times, but we'll see. Sharp can't block, says the one. Fat Boy Slim says every question should be about Nussmeier on the offensive line, the offensive coordinator. Why we're not playing the backup quarterback? We can't run the ball. Why can't we run the ball? Yeah. Boy, and they were able to get to the quarterback and apply pressure and with very little pass rush.
I thought to myself in the second quarter, that's when I would have considered turning to Michael Van Buren. If nothing else, because Nussmeier just didn't look himself right. Sometimes you just shake it up. By the time third quarter was around, I'm like, all right, I do make that call. And by the end of the game, I don't know. I don't know. I guess on paper, Nussmeier was good enough to stay in. But I think if you're actually watching the game, you saw those balls were off.
Chili with a super chat. Joe Sloan is playing Madden and Kelly Les Miles. And it's Kelly Les Miles. Yeah. What would Signetti do with this roster? Says Michael Edwards.
You certainly can't complain about the roster and talent available on it because Kelly, he had what'd he say, $20 million to build this roster this year. Mm-hmm. You went out in the portal and you got all the best players you could get.
Joe Sloan, Brian Kelly, Brad Davis need to be run out of the state of Louisiana. And here's the thing. You have an open date next week, so you get to stew on this loss for several weeks. Last year I watched Mike Elko take out Connor. And now extremely nervous about that game, Preston.
Oh yeah.
Texas A&M at home. The home team always wins. Not so fast. Now all of a sudden,
I would argue
games, everybody who was predicting 10-2, a lot of the games that you were considering to be the two losses, you're starting to look at other games now and wondering if another one's going to be a third, another one's going to be a fourth.
And look, let me put this out there. Marshall Reed, I'd argue, is more dynamic athlete than Trinidad Chambliss. Hey, you get Lenore Sellers in a couple weeks. Is he healthy? He should be healthy in 2 weeks, right? Diego Pavia, who could run the ball. Marshall Reed, Ty Simpson, who can move the ball pretty well. Taylon Green at Arkansas, who's very athletic. I mean, you have got, and then John Mateer. Every major team you play down the road has a quarterback who can move.
And by the way, after today, nobody's going to be really talking about LSU's great defense anymore. I still think it's a very good defense, but no one's going to be putting elite in front of it after today. I'm sorry. And I get that the offense didn't do them any favors. But you were lucky at halftime it wasn't 24-7. Texas Tiger with a super chat, big friend of mine and fan, a longtime TigerBait subscriber. The 2-point play that they ran sealed the grade on Kelly. I don't know what they were thinking on that play. I really don't. Anthony Kelly comes with a super chat. Texas Tiger, thank you for that one as well. Anthony, I don't see a comment, but if you have one, post it and we'll be sure to get it.
I'll go scan for it real quick and see if I can find it from Anthony Kelly.
And
post it again if you have it, if you're still here.
LA Chris, I found his. Yeah, we got that one about Mike Elko. And okay, I just want to make sure we get everybody. LT is difference between a bad coach and a better coach. Elko had the balls to bench Connor. Brian Kelly is a fraud. Stephen Miller, great friend of the show. Looks like a lot of folks are letting the last couple of years of Les Miles cloud your judgment. Winning 10 games a year versus winning 8-9 games a row now. We've had elite talent with nothing to show for it.
That's a good point. I mean, early Les Miles years, they were very good. If people forget, I mean, he went 11-2, 11-2, 12-2, had a couple down years and back to, what was that? 10-2 and then 13-1 in the national championship. I mean, early Les years were strong.
Nussbus is dead, says Apollo Balboa.
The bus definitely needs to go see a mechanic.
Nuss is scared to run, and that's why he's taking chances throwing into triple coverage, says Bearded Dragon.
That was boneheaded. That's the thing is like, if Nussmeier.
I'm a no on Eli Holstein.
He hadn't been the best at Pittsburgh this year. I don't know if that's your answer.
Peyton Houston, why LSU went after Peyton Houston, Pops Houston, is because of what you're seeing at this LSU offense struggle with right now. He can do it all. He's elusive. He can run. He can throw. Look at the production that he has at Evangel. And by the way, what is Shamlis's height, Preston? What do they list him at?
6'1".
All right.
Not a super tall
that's
guy.
going negative on Pops. He's 5'10" and a quarter.
Yeah. I'm going to say, the thing is they list him at 5'11", and if he was 5'11", he ain't getting listed at 5'11". There's not a single 5'11" player in high school roster in the planet who is actually 5'11" and lists himself at 5'11". They all go for the big 6'0", baby.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that Drew Boogie playoffs. Don't talk about. This is not a playoff team. In fact, when it gets like the way it was at the end of the game, I'm a very much a gallows humor type of guy, and I posted a image of the Music City Bowl and how to get your reservations. I posted it in our game chat. I'm not saying this team's a playoff team. No way. They would have to do some major work and make some major changes during the open date, this first open date, to make that happen. You look at this schedule the rest of the way, and it is brutal. I'm just shocked about how bad this offense is.
Yeah. Look, I'm not going to declare the team dead yet. That's just not. I like to wait and see. But they have to fix some things on offense.
Well, Preston, by most people's standards, they're dead if they're not a playoff team.
Well, no. I'm also considering them dead if they're not a playoff team. What I'm telling you is I'm not declaring them out of the playoffs yet because this is a 4-1 football team. All right. But I will say this, there's problems on the offense that I can't think of an easy solution. What's your solution for this offensive line, Mike? How many right tackles have you tried and failed at using? You can't block a 3-man pass rush. What's the magic fix for that? I don't know. And they've tried, cute little things in the offense, the dink and dunk, the bubble screens. They've done everything they can to assist. I mean, the only thing they can do to help this offensive line beyond this is run the flip and veer, which I don't think we've seen at this level in 50 years. But, I don't know what the solution is. It is concerning. It's deeply concerning. I'll just leave it at that.
Dane Bergeron, Mike, this reminds me of the change when DiNardo moved from Jamie Howard to Herb Tyler out of necessity. Well, yeah, Jamie got hurt that year. But if you remember, Jamie Howard was actually having a very good season up until that point. Also, can we stop blaming Orgeron now? This is on BK. It's all, no one's blaming Orgeron for this team. That's long gone. This is year 4.
Yeah. Orgeron won a national championship in year 3. Nick Saban won it in year 4. Les Miles
Yeah,
won it in year
and nobody's
3.
talking about the lack of scholarships or
Yeah, no.
39
39 scholarship players in a bowl game that transpired in the last day of the year in 2021 in the calendar year 2025. Nobody cares. This is all BK.
We can't seem to stop dual threat quarterbacks at all. Well, I mean, I like the way they defended Lagway. But Chambliss looks a lot better than him.
And they kind of funny.
And look, I'll tell you this. A big part of it is Lane Kiffin's play calling. Putting him in a position to be successful. Lane Kiffin deserves all the accolades and credit for this one right now. Michael Duon with a $5 super chat. No comment, but post one, Michael, and we'll get it. Make sure we put it up for you. Thank you for that. Get better offensive line personnel. You know, here's the thing, and we talk about it every show. All of these guys on that offensive line and that offensive line room, scholarship players, were all highly recruited. Had offers from all the right schools.
Weston Davis, 5-star.
You look at their measurables. It just really makes no sense. And I've had one too many offensive line coaches talk to me about the technique and the way that they're coached, and that's the reason why. And if that's the case, and if it doesn't improve, and you're not in the playoffs this year, I don't know how you keep doing the same thing over and over again. And BK is going to have some decisions to make at the end of the year. That's just the bottom line. If you know the history of Brian Kelly, the one thing that he's not afraid to do is move on from coaches and make changes. Animator 73, defense had too many blown coverages. Yeah,
particularly in the middle of the field, in the middle coverage, those 10 to 15-ish or so yards downfield. Yeah, that was open a little bit too much. Like I said, there's some things to nitpick on this defense today. There's some things to be unhappy about with this defense today. But you didn't lose the football game because your defense didn't play well enough.
And Kenny Haines says if you hold Ole Miss at 24, you should win. I think so.
I mean, that's absolutely true. This is a dynamic, elite offense.
I had LSU winning 34-28, and then I said the other day, watch it end up being a 21-17 game. Because everybody was picking, kind of a more high scores.
Yeah.
And I was close. On my
I had a feeling it would be a lower scoring game simply because of how good LSU's defense has been this year. And that part panned out to be true. It's just, man, LSU's offense was anemic. I picked LSU to win 23-17, which was, about spot on if you flip the scores.
Sam Pittman will be available as O-line coach. I mentioned that a few weeks ago.
That'd be
on the show with Buddy. But at his age and so forth, I wonder if he's not going to take a couple of years off with the money he's going to walk away with. Texas Tiger with another super chat. Man, thank you. 1 or 2 yard passes across the middle when you need 8 to 10 is always a winning combination. Yeah.
Well, that's another thing while I'm sitting there saying, is he actually healthy? Because why are you calling those plays if you need 8 to 10 and you're calling 1 to 2 yard plays and just hoping your receivers can make a guy miss and make a play? Why are you doing that? The only thing that makes sense is you either have zero confidence in him to make those throws, or he's not healthy and you're covering that. And either or sounds like if you don't have enough confidence in your quarterback to make a 10-yard pass for any reason, seems like you should try another, but I don't know.
Someone in the chat asked, when is Brian Kelly's presser? I'm looking at my screen right now, and it's being uploaded to our channel while we're talking. So,
okay. You see, Michael Duon had his comment after the super chat.
Go ahead.
Demote Brad Davis and give Avery Adkins a shot. I don't know if there's any adjustments or shifts that you can make this year that's going to fix that. You know what I mean? I don't think that swapping out your offensive line coach midseason is going to miraculously fix these guys. I think offensive line is time and development, and then a little bit of scheme to help them out as well. But it's very technique driven, and a lot of that technique is just developed over months. And I don't think there's any quick fix. That's why I'm looking at this offensive line. I just don't know. I don't know what you do to get them playing the way you need to play this year.
Preston, go ahead and take some more comments, will you?
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Let's see here. Fat Boy Slim, another comment here. Nuss has always been scared to run. We saw that again tonight. He did take off and run a couple times, but it wasn't very effective. When he does decide to take off and run, I feel like it's too slow. Like it's as a last resort. And a lot of times I feel like when it's wide open, just take it and go. Don't see if that receiver is going to slip open. You've got a wide open lane. Do it. And one of the more frustrating parts about Nussmeier, he can move. He can scoot 100%. He just chooses not to. Let's see here. If he's not healthy, bench him till he is. That's one thought that I have. If he's not healthy, let's put it like this. If you don't have confidence in him to throw the ball 10 yards for any reason, because I'm just speculating on health. I don't have anything that's concrete. If you can't trust him to throw the ball 10 yards, then bench him. I'm with you on that because you're an SEC program. And frankly, you've got Colin Hurley, who was not low recruited, been in your system now. This is his second year there. And Michael Van Buren, who started, 8 SEC games, and he's shown you something. I will say this. The only reason I could give to justify not playing Michael Van Buren is we were all there for fall camp for media. We saw the same thing. BK saw the same thing we were telling you. He didn't look very good. They must think there's a much wider gap, and those reps against Southeastern didn't impress them. I guess they shouldn't because Nussmeier also looked elite against Southeastern. James Harvey with the $5 super chat. Thank you, James. Appreciate your support. The running backs are weak, and Nuss is a second string at best. I think the way he played today, you're 100% right, James. That would be a serviceable backup quarterback at best. Yes.
And by the way, right now, and look, Caleb Jackson gets in there and drops a ball that would have been a big gain for a first down. It's just like, man, it seems like he gets one opportunity every week, and he blows it.
He did have a nice run.
And by the way, Harlem Berry is a true freshman. But if you look at the builds of the three guys that were playing running back, they all are wide receivers. They're wide receiver builds. Harlem Berry has a wide receiver build right now. Jawan Johnson has a wide receiver ish body. He's a former RPO quarterback from LCA. And then Xavion Thomas, running back, wide receiver. Caleb Jackson is the only guy available to you that actually has the build and the looks of a running back.
But he's just unable to run through a tackle, man. He cannot. He just, every time first contact, he's going down. Preston, this team's dead. Thank you for another comment there, Fat Boy Slim. Look, I'm not mad at you if you want to declare that. I understand why you think it. I'm not going to say you're incorrect either. And we all agree the definition of dead is not making the playoffs, right? Like if you're going to any bowl game that isn't to compete for a championship at this point, yes, the team is dead at LSU. So I'm not mad at you for thinking that.
Capital City Grill, everybody. Get there tomorrow for brunch. They have a great brunch. That'll take some of the sting off this. The chicken and waffles, load up on some carbs. It'll make you feel better. Again, 100 Lafayette Street from 11 to 2. Fantastic brunch spot. They got the Eggs Benedict, a full brunch menu. If you go to capitalcitygrill.net, and you can see that menu. And if you just want traditional lunch menu, they've got the burgers, the French dip sandwiches, all the po' boys and shrimp platters, and on and on. And great carrot cake. The dream cake is on the screen, but the chicken and waffles is absolutely the best chicken and waffles in town. That chicken is never frozen, absolutely fresh. They put the Steens syrup on it, which Steens, of course, is a Louisiana tradition, Steen syrup. And so get over there for that one. And Dykes Electrical, the official electrical company of TigerBait.com. No matter how big or small your electrical needs might be, Dykes is wired for success. You need a 10-story office building wired. They can wire that. A 200,000 square foot warehouse that you need built, expanding your existing commercial building, changing out a breaker, a whole electrical panel, or just receptacle. They can wire that. Give them a call today at the number on your screen, 225-216-9180 for a free estimate on your project. And please tell them that TigerBait sent you in. Go ahead, Press. You got some comments to get to?
Yeah, we got a couple super chats I'll knock out.
All right.
Nuss problem is not physical. It's in between his ear. Physical problems did not cause him to throw an INT into triple coverage. Now, look, Dane, excellent comment, and I'm going to agree with you here. Okay, but I'll say this. I think it could be some physical issues, but I'm going to tell you this. A quarterback who's a gunslinger like Nussmeier and not known for just making wise, smart decisions and managing the game well and not taking it when nothing's there, a quarterback without that is particularly harmed when you take his ability to throw crazy plays. It's like when Brett Favre had that injury playing for the Jets that year, and I think we didn't find out about it till after the year. He was awful. Because we're talking about a gunslinger, a guy who likes to stretch the field. If you want him to be a Charlie check down and start taking underneath stuff and just manage the game flow, okay, great. But that's not what he does. And that's not what Nussmeier does either. Secondly, if you're going to have a guy who's going to be Charlie check down, game manager, you need to be able to run the ball. And this team is anemic in the running game. So I think there's a couple factors they're playing.
Buddy of mine who used to run a major Ole Miss website many years ago just text me one word: runts. Because that's what I text him after every Ole Miss loss to LSU. The famous quote from, God dang it, what's his name? Texas A&M's athletic director now.
Oh, I can't remember the guy.
Of course, at the time, he was ESPN commentator. He said, once a runt, always a runt when talking about Ole Miss. That was 22 years ago after the 0-3 loss to LSU.
Got another super chat here.
Go ahead.
Corey David, thanks for the $4.99 super chat. I think Nuss is scared of contact. 2-year sample size thoughts. Kind of wish we had Lane. I think a lot of people kind of wish they had Lane at this point. I mean, what evidence do you have to debate that? I mean, has Nuss ever pursued contact? I mean, you can say, I don't know if he's scared or just playing smart, coach's son and all that. Quarterbacks shouldn't be embracing contact, but he certainly doesn't like to run. I don't know.
I think he's a traditional quarterback that wants to make it happen in the pocket. He's not slow. But a part of being a running quarterback is having the instinct and the intuition that I need to take off and go.
Yep.
And typically when Nussmeier decides to take off and run, it's a split second too late.
Yep.
And you've got a defensive end or an edge rusher that these guys all run 4.7s and with long arms, and they can reach out and grab his undershirt like they did earlier today.
Boy, Nuss, how about you just go undershirtless next time, man? Because he had space to go if he didn't get him by that undershirt. I don't know if he gets the jersey or not, but
yeah,
that was
Trev Alberts. Trev Alberts is
Trev Alberts. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, get some more in.
Yeah, no problem. Let's see here. Trucking with Casper, who's always a good, consistent watcher of the show. I appreciate his support as always. Consistent pressure with a 3-man front is crazy. It's unbelievable. It's inexcusable to get a 3-man pressure, and I don't care who the guys are. 3-man, you should be able to block 3 with 5. That's just math. And it's poor coaching. It's poor everything. Preston, I don't mind a gunslinger, but gunslingers in the Old West knew where to direct their bullets or they were dead. Sometimes, but those gunslingers also did throw some wild balls sometimes. Go back and look at the Brett Favre highlights and tell me he didn't throw some wild balls.
Well, there was a stretch of Brett Favre in between the end of his career and the very early part of his career where the gunslinger thing was corralled and channeled, and it's why he multiple MVPs and Super Bowl,
right,
et cetera.
But I mean, look, even in his last good year for the Vikings, he threw across his body for an interception against the Saints, and that's how the Saints lined up. And instead of Minnesota kicking a game-winning field goal, it was the Saints who did it. So yeah, gunslingers do that, but boy, you do not want to be a gunslinger quarterback who can't throw more than 15 yards. That is a recipe for disaster, and I think that's kind of what LSU is dealing with right now.
Did you get this one already?
No, I didn't. That must be. That shameless kid didn't look good in fall camp for Ole Miss, Preston. Let's just see what That's a good point, because weren't we talking about this last week? Sometimes kids just don't look good in practice. They're game players.
Right. Van Buren looked good in the game, and he looked terrible every time we saw him in spring and fall camp.
Yep.
And had me wondering out loud if he was a gamer. I know another, while I was on the way home listening, Hunt Palmer and them on the official. Hunt Palmer said almost the identical thing.
Yep. Some guys are like that, man. They just don't practice well. And, I think if you aren't going to bench Nussmeier for the way he was playing today and give him a look, when are you? Are you going to have to lose and be out of the playoffs before you give him a look? I mean, are you going to give him a meaningful rep? I have to question coaches for that, because I would have turned to Michael Van Buren based off of what he showed you against Southeastern. Yes, I understand it's Southeastern, but also based on what Nussmeier was showing you against Ole Miss. I would have at least given him a look. If nothing else, Van Buren can move. Van Buren can use his legs pretty well. So that would have been helpful today, especially against those 3-man rushes you kept on losing to. Thank you for the super chat, Michael.
Yeah, Dr. John Sibley, Butler in the house. Nuss is a 5th-year guy, and I would take the Ole Miss backup any day. LSU needs someone else evaluating talent. Well, we're getting after everybody tonight. No one is safe. BK, Frank Wilson. I think the only one have we mentioned Cortez Hankton yet? Everybody on offense has been safe, has been ridiculed so far, except for Hankton.
Yeah, well, and his receivers need to be a little more consistent catching the ball.
And I guess nobody's really getting after any of the defensive coaches. I think most people seem to think it was inevitable. You just can't have a defense out on the field that long.
Yeah. The Nuss bus needs a new mechanic. And it's David. Thank you, Corey. David.
Yeah.
Spelled just like David.
We have Corey David and we have Blake David with us all the time. Tiger Mark, what about our O-line's inability to block 3 down linemen? That could be trouble down the line.
I think we've talked about that once or twice.
I mean, it's great if you're a defensive coordinator and you're watching LSU and you're like, holy smoke, if we can have some success with only 3 linemen, down linemen, and drop everybody else in the coverage, and Nuss is struggling the way he is, you feel pretty darn good.
Dave Ventura, Nuss has cement feet. Here's the deal. I actually don't think he has cement feet. I think it's up here. Okay. I think Nussmeier runs as a last resort. I think he waits and sees that his receiver is not and will not be open before that defender gets to him. And by the way, that's part of his equation in his head, is when that defender gets him. So inherently, anytime the receiver's not going to be open before the defender gets him, guess what? It's also too late to take off and run, because you're standing still and he's running after you. So it's in his head. He needs to, when he sees the lane, take the opening, not wait for the receiver. Because I think he can actually move. I think he's not super slow.
Pop-Tart Bowl incoming. BK loves his food group bowls. You could be right, Jared. I mean, I was thinking that just a minute ago. I mean, you tell me, Preston. I know you don't want to take your homer cap off, but
no, I mean, look,
when we look at how quality these wins actually are, but Florida and Clemson,
no, right,
and you lose tonight, and you're looking at what the teams on the schedule the rest of the way are doing, and what they look like, and who you got to play on the road, and I think the odds of LSU being a playoff team have dropped substantially, and it's to the point of being a long shot.
Yeah, guys, I'm not telling you LSU will make the playoffs at this point. I'm just saying I don't want to just declare it done and over. The team didn't look like a playoff team today. It didn't. I think they need to play much better if they want to, especially look at this schedule. I mean, if the team shows up and plays the way they did today, how many of these games will they lose? South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Yeah, I mean, that question answers itself. A lot is the answer. So I'm not sitting here.
I mean, the only team of all those ones you listed that aren't playing well, and I'm saying Alabama's playing well, and they're going to play you well at home, is Arkansas.
And even their offense, they can move the ball. Even though they got blown out and only put up 13 points against Notre Dame today. I mean, yeah, no, it's not looking good, guys. They have to work on some things. You cannot. And by the way, if you go out there and get outgained 480 to 254 against a lot of these teams, you're not losing by 5. You're not. You got to do some things different. The fact that you got outgained by 226 yards, they almost doubled your offensive output, and you lost by 5, that's a miracle. I mean, this game was not as close as the score suggests today.
166 yards rushing for Ole Miss versus 57 for LSU.
Yeah.
And they had 109 yards in penalties.
Yeah. Which, by the way, that's another element that really saves LSU today. Imagine if they play discipline or the refs just keep it tighter in their pocket and they have 3 for 12 or 3 for 20. By the way,
there was a time there where they had twice as many penalties as LSU. It might have been a halftime or early third quarter where they had almost double the number of penalties as LSU, but LSU's penalty yards were almost identical.
Yeah,
because of the several 15-yard varieties that LSU got.
I'll also say this. LSU did have a very painful pass interference call on DJ Pickett that ended up being a pick 6 that would have put that game 14-3. And 14-3 is a lot easier to manage than 7-3, no doubt. But I thought it was a little ticky tack. I thought, okay, sure, that's a call, but they were calling everything ticky tack today. I mean, so at least they were consistent on both sides of the ball. If it resembled a penalty, that banana was on the field, baby.
Y'all do me a favor if you're enjoying the show as much as you can after an LSU loss. Please hit that like button for us, whether you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook. Give us a thumbs up. Follow us if you're watching us on Facebook. Be sure to follow our page. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button. Our analytics still show us that about half of our viewers are not yet subscribed. Very much appreciate you guys if you can hit that subscribe button. We got a lot coming your way. We were out yesterday at a high school game filming a future wide receiver, and wait till you see this film that we've got coming for you that LSU's highly after. LSU beer. It's not the offensive ineptitude that worries me. It's the fact that there has been no progress since the Clemson game. I agree with that. I can only see 2 more wins, maybe squeak out a third, says CD Snuts.
Mike, you should not have read that name.
Okay. CD's. I like that.
Come on, Mike.
That's actually, I should have read that. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. Yeah, Kenny Haines. When does fall baseball start? I like winners. It's going. Rode by last night, Alex Box Stadium, and the lights were on, and they were doing some work. But they had the road closed. Is there some construction going on in front of Alex Box? That road there, there's something going on. The road was closed. LA Chris, why does Nuss wait so late to throw it to Chris Hilton? I ask where's Chris Hilton every game. He gets 1 or 2 thrown his way, and then that's about the extent of him. I'm just blown away by that.
Including a couple 0% chance deep balls where the deep balls that are getting thrown to Chris Hilton, number one, aren't thrown well. They're either like out of bounds, way under, or it was the what was it? The false the offsides free play that they got. These aren't good deep balls being thrown to Chris Hilton. Not at all. So I don't know. It almost feels like they're force feeding him instead of just incorporating him into the offense organically. They're trying to force feed him as this deep ball threat and like, we'll throw it up. Let's throw it to Chris because we need to get it to Chris and not waiting for that shot to be open. And by the way, waiting for the quarterback to get in rhythm and be able to make that throw. That's another part of the problem there.
Go ahead and get some more, Preston.
No,
Chris Hilton can't catch the ball, says Joe Swallow. I don't know that he's had a ball thrown to him on the money.
What ball was he supposed to have caught today?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe there's one or two if you go back and look at the film, put in slow motion, maybe so. But let's see here. LSU cannot keep on with this same coach, BK. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. I'm not going to touch the topic of whether LSU should or should not move away from BK, but I'm going to tell you this: whether they will or will or won't, they won't. LSU is 100%. No matter what happens this season, BK will be back next year, and you're with me on that, right, Mike?
Yep.
All right. Let's see here. Oops. There is no locker room leader. This is from Count the Money, who is going to give some speech all of a sudden to get pushed from the offense. And that's what I keep on saying is there's no fix for offensive line. A lot of offensive line takes years to develop the muscle memory, takes years to develop the muscle power. It just takes a long time to develop an offensive line. That's not a position where you can just boof, So unless you have some hero on your bench that for some reason just went completely unnoticed, I don't know.
Yeah. And now what is
there's
LSU's
no quick fix
situation across that group?
There's what?
What is LSU's injury situation on the offensive line going forward?
Oh, I mean, they're pretty banged up. And by the way, what did Weston Davis end up playing at all tonight?
Carius Kern got the start.
Yeah, I know he got the start. I didn't notice Weston Davis at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure Carius Kern would have played all the
Weston
snaps.
Davis was injured in pregame warmups.
He cut his arm in a pregame warmup. What are we doing? I don't know. That was very funny to me. Who is the leader on this offense? You see Weeks and Perkins as leaders on defense. At this point, you don't really know. You would hope it'd be Nussmeier, but Nussmeier is struggling mightily. Let's see here.
Yeah. Who's the vocal wide receiver? Would it be Barry and Brown?
Is it Aaron Anderson?
Aaron Anderson is kind of a lead by example guy.
Yeah.
But Aaron Anderson knows good football, and I guarantee you I guarantee when he says something, they listen.
By the way, him getting hurt today hurt LSU a lot, losing Aaron Anderson. I think they did do a good job, particularly on those third down situations down the stretch after he got hurt, but you need a guy like Aaron Anderson in this offense. The shot was open, the throw was horrible, and that's what we're talking about. Chris Hilton wide open for a touchdown, and Nussmeier just misses him, man. I mean, you got to make these throws.
See it on your screen. Alumni Hall, our longtime sponsor. Tiger fans, I got to tell you about the best place to get all your officially licensed LSU gear. It's Alumni Hall in Perkins Row. They've got Nike, Champion, Johnny O, On Reserve, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, and a lot more. The great high-end, high-quality polos that aren't going to fall apart in the dryer. They've got all the lightweight stuff that you want for our climate and new designs. And, of course, we've got a little bit of cool weather. Not quite cold enough for sweatshirts yet, but we're getting close, hopefully in the next month. But they've got all the new hoodies and all the quarter zip pullovers. All that stuff's in. So go to their store in Perkins Row or shop anytime at alumnihall.com. Use the code, all one word, TigerBait, all one word. And anytime you buy anything from Alumni Hall, whether it's online or in person in the store, say TigerBait at the register, and you will always get 10% off no matter what you buy. And they've been running that promo for our viewers and subscribers for years now. And that TigerBait code will always be available to you. And you get free shipping on all orders over $99. Shop with our friends over at Alumni Hall. And need to talk about the newest downtown oyster spot, the best oyster spot in Baton Rouge. That's Baye's downtown Baton Rouge. And 315 North Boulevard. It's the old Jolie's Jolie Pearl. And they've got the freshest farm-raised oysters from Grand Isle. No mud, no grit, just clean, delicious flavor. And if you're not into oysters, you can get the boiled shrimp. They got a turkey brie and bacon po' boy that's out of this world. They got a classic roast beef po' boy that I'm telling you has at least 3/4 to a pound of beef on it. A fully stocked bar complete with top-notch bourbon, whiskey, and a massive craft beer selection at Baye's downtown Baton Rouge. And I'm telling you, the different ways of getting your oysters prepared, there's like 16 different ways on that menu. And Baye's Oyster Bar, again, go check them out, 315 North Boulevard. Preston, you want to get some comments in? Let me take this off.
Yeah, but say take the
got
graphic off for me. Yeah, no problem. Let's see here. Drew Bogey. Hitting the like button and subscribing is a lot cheaper than seeing a therapist after a loss. Hey, let us be your therapist, guys. We'll get you through this. I don't have solutions, but we can talk about the problems all day long. Let's see here. Joy Soilu, BK isn't going anywhere. Joe Sloan has got to go. I'll say this. BK is not going anywhere. That's 100% correct. That buyout alone makes it just financially non-feasible. However, Joe Sloan, I believe, does have to turn this offense around and do some more because the offense has been anemic 5 games into the season. By the way, you're almost halfway through the season. And what offensive output have you been out there where you're like, wow, they looked good today? Not one of them. So I do think Joe Sloan probably has to get things turned around if he wants to hang on to his job. I'll say this. I like Joe Sloan too. I think he's a good coach. I just wonder if maybe the coordinator role is the best fit for him. I don't know. I don't want to speculate beyond that. Let's see here. Mobile QB can cover the poor play calling and a poor O-line, yet MVB sets. And that's another thing I keep on pointing out. Even if Michael Van Buren isn't truly the better player, he might have given you something different today that could have given you a better look. BK should apologize to Michael Cobble again. That's from Tiger Mark. And look, I talked to a bunch of media guys after that. We all thought it was a little ridiculous that Cobble got, screamed at the way he did post game. Now, of course, we all like that we get the big loud clip from BK, but these questions are proving to be very valid. Yeah, you scored 13 points against Florida. If it wasn't for the pick 6, it would have been a very tightly contested game. And lo and behold, Florida's not a very good team. Now you're starting to see these questions about the offense are absolutely valid. So yeah, I don't care if it is first in the press conference. It was, yeah, these are questions to be asked. Let's see here. At this point in the season, how do you rank these QBs? Nuss, Arch, Klubnik, and Sellers. Well, Lenore Sellers has been hurt, right, for the most part. I don't think has he been bad or just hurt? But no, not high is the answer to all of that. And yeah, not good. Remember, this is the year we were told. That's from FH. Yeah, guys, I mean, this is the year where there are no excuses at all. It doesn't matter what kind of program you inherited. This is your 4th season. And okay, well, you said, after signing day last year, well, look, our NIL, we don't have the money to compete in this era of NIL. Well, guess what?
I want the ability to come here every post game show and change my season prediction.
So what if they blow out? South
I was
Carolina
9-3 to start.
Going back to 11-1.
Switch to 11-1. Now I want to go back to 9-3 if y'all will let me.
Yeah.
Or 8-4.
Yeah. Well, after that Clemson game, we were both hyped, but I think I don't think either of us predicted Clemson would be just as bad as they are. And I don't think anybody predicted coming into the season they would be as bad as they are.
Yep. There it is. I knew this was going to happen. I'm not going to say that's going to hold up, but I was thinking that Alabama could win that game.
Oh, boy.
Absolutely.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Keep an eye on that. Although, hey, look, Florida State lost to Virginia last night. So, I mean, they got bullied around by Florida State, but it is kind of funny how Bama seems to have Georgia's number at times. But remember this. Bama got out huge on Georgia last year, and then Kirby Smart came back. You don't ever feel comfortable with a big lead on Kirby Smart. 9-3 feels like a stretch right now.
Go ahead.
I understand exactly why you feel that way. I really do. I mean, if this team plays like this every single time they play, yeah, 9-3 could be a stretch. I'll say this. You want a silver lining? Here's a little silver lining. That's probably one of the best offenses you're going to see all year. And they scored 24 on you. That's your silver lining today. Ignore the 480 yards they hung on you and the 2 turnovers that came in crucial points. Let's see here. American Patriot. Alabama is playing for real. You know what? You're spoiled, BK. I don't think we sound too spoiled at this point.
What will we do differently in 2 weeks against another dual threat quarterback in Lenore Sellers? Asked Tiger Mark.
Well, here's the deal. Do I think you lost the game because you couldn't stop him running the ball? He ran the ball 14 times for 71 yards. He definitely was effective running the ball, no doubt. I think what hurt
you know, Preston, I know what Shambles did tonight, but I'm going to go back to what I said earlier. It's Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
All right. What did Lagway not have? He didn't have Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
Now, do you think Beamer is going to have a similar play calling and attack?
But he's no Lane Kiffin. He's not even close to a Lane Kiffin.
Right. This is I don't want it to be a love letter to Lane Kiffin, but Lane Kiffin deserves all the credit for that win tonight.
West Weeks roughing the passer killed us. Absolutely. Awful. And that was a very ticky-tack play call. The only way I can really justify throwing
but you got to call it.
By the way, I also thought that was intentional grounding on that. There was not a receiver.
If that happened in Tiger Stadium and that happened to an LSU quarterback, 102,000 would be going berserk if that flag wasn't thrown.
Well, and here's the justification for it, okay? And I more or less disagree because I think he more or less just ran into the quarterback, but that's okay. The justification that I can have, they were throwing everything tonight. Every ticky-tack, 50-50, he kind of did something, kind of didn't. At least in the first 3 quarters of the game, they were throwing everything. So at least they were being consistent on throwing everything. But I still think that was intentional grounding. Maybe I'll go back and look at the film and say, oh, okay, well, he was technically out of the pocket. Or, oh, he was maybe there's some rule he gets off. But I didn't think he threw it anywhere near anybody. Let's see here. So which BK do we get? Pounding on the table or yelling at the reporters or asking why the offense sucks? Have we gotten the BK postgame yet, Mike?
It's up.
It's up. Did you get to watch any of it or no?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, because we're doing a postgame show.
But his face is red. Like he's blood pressure super high.
Drew Causey with the super chat for $4.99. Thank you. If you have a comment, I'm gonna look for it. But if you do have a comment that you want to get up there, just go ahead and put it in there. And if you put it in there already, put it again. We'll get to you here. Try to make sure here. Okay. Thank you for the super chat. Remember, this is the most talented roster in BK's 35 years.
Yeah.
What's that?
I forgot about that quote.
Yeah, I'm remembering it too real fast right now. And here's the deal, man. On paper, they were very talented on both sides of the ball. Nussmeier, I mean, he was supposedly a first-round draft pick quarterback coming into the season. He don't look it. That offensive line certainly doesn't look best talent in 35 years. Now, the receivers, you can see the talent for sure. And I think running backs, even you can see the talent. But it is what it is.
Yeah, and I saw Whit Weeks doing the.
Yeah, I saw the cry. Yeah. The land shark, I thought, while down, was a little, come on. Be winning the game before you do a mocking chant like that, at least. Or just
Drew
don't
calls
do
you
it.
with a super chat, but no comment. Drew, if you post something, we'll be there. It is. I said no comment. Just want to contribute to the best LSU show on YouTube. Tiger Roar 73 on TigerBait. Thank you, Drew. Thank you so much for that.
Appreciate your support. Here's a comment I'm enjoying. 14-7 Bama. Go Georgia just scored.
Who are you pulling for on that one?
Oh, I don't know that I particularly care.
Yeah, I don't know if I care either.
I mean, probably Georgia, but if nothing else, it makes sense to me. I kind of, when there's too much chaos and I'm trying to put the picture of who's good in college football, sometimes the chaos stresses me out. So if Bama wins that one, we're getting chaos because Bama lost to Florida State. Florida State lost to Virginia, so they're not very good. Well,
how far
Georgia
is LSU going to drop tomorrow?
What's that?
How far is LSU drop?
Can I look at the poll and follow back on you? Why don't you take this comment?
Yeah.
Fire Davis and Sloan.
Yeah. Look, if what we've been seeing offensively does not improve, if there's no turnaround, it doesn't get any better. If they come up with the right set up, the right combination of offensive linemen to make a go of it and be successful, and Caden Durham gets back healthy and is more patient, waiting for his holes in his blocks to open up. If none of that gets any better, then BK is going to have to evaluate and make a decision. And when does he do that? He'll typically do it after a bowl game. And certainly if you're making those kind of moves, you're making those kind of moves because you didn't make the playoffs. So you'd be doing it after a bowl game. Certainly after your December signing period.
In terms of how far LSU falls, I'm looking at the polls, and there's a lot of wackadoodle rankings this year. Obviously, Florida State's going to fall a bit. They will fall further than you because they're already 4 spots below you. Texas at 301. Do you stay above or below them? You probably fall below them. Indiana's probably going to lose to Oregon today. I will predict LSU falls to 13 or 14. That's my guess.
Yep. Tiger Mark, I still think this is a playoff team, but the coaching has to be better. Simple as that. I'm tired of hearing Brian Kelly say we have to coach better. We know this. There's only so many ways for Brian Kelly to deflect the criticism for his players or I don't know what his true assessment is of his own offensive line or what he thinks from top to bottom of Frank Wilson's running back room. Certainly it's not what it's supposed to be with Caden Durham out. What would he say off the record if he knew no one would ever repeat it? I have no idea. But he's not going to come out and say we got a bunch of offensive linemen that we shouldn't have recruited. That's just not going to happen. So most coaches that have been around for a long time, they're going to say what BK says in so many different ways. It's what you do after a loss.
Preston, does Arkansas fire their coach tomorrow? I mean, I think at this rate he will be fired this season. I mean, they're 2-3 wins over Arkansas State and Alabama A&M, and
I think there's a chance.
They have a defense that I am told is worse than 2023 LSU's defense. It is that bad. And it looked every bit of that bad today against Notre Dame, who just ran up and down the field. But I don't know if it's today or after Tennessee or I don't know. What does firing the coach at this point really do for you other than get you a head start on the coaching search? But you can go ahead and start searching if you know you're going to fire the guy.
And most of the time, does that really benefit the school? It's not like you because you're the first one, you're going to get the number one guy.
Well, and also it depends on buyout. You know what I mean? Like, okay, if most of his buyout is guaranteed anyways, like you got to pay him whether he's there or not.
Is Petrino the interim? Is that what you want?
Interesting. Interesting.
Faye Schubert.
my
It's
God.
bad when both Mississippi teams look better than LSU.
Did Mississippi State end up beating Tennessee? I didn't catch that
Davis
score.
even be BK's decision to make come the end of the season. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what I don't know how much Woodward would have a say in that, but I think if it got to that point, if LSU is a Music City Bowl or a non-playoff team, I don't think you're going to need Scott Woodward to twist Brian Kelly's arm to make some decisions, some changes.
Thank you for the comment, Millhouse. I would say that he has no say in whether he fires them or not, but I do think he'll have a lot of say in what his budget to replace them are. Because if you remember when Ogeron fired, who did he fire? The defensive coordinator, Bo Pelini 2.0, right? He said, all right, go ahead and you can go hire who you want as DC, but we're not going to give you $2 million just so we have to pay a $1.5 million buyout again, because I think the next buyout we're saving up for is yours. And that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. They went out and got the guy from the Minnesota Vikings, and who didn't do a terrible job, but they ended up firing BK at Ogeron a season later.
Yeah. Get some more in there, Preston.
No problem. Thank you, Millhouse. Let's see here. I thought all y'all had to do was attack Sage Ryan. Hey, Sage Ryan did try his best to help out LSU. He did the lone touchdown Nussmeier threw. Sage Ryan batted it right to Nick Anderson. I think that's another reason, by the way, their frustrations are coming in so much for LSU today on the offense, is because even when they were scoring, they didn't look good. That was a lucky touchdown pass to Nick Anderson. Let's see here. Lane's daughter is dating Whit Weeks, so obviously this is all her fault. I did see some funny comments about how Whit Weeks started throwing up. They're like, what did Landry Kiffin give him last night? Let's see here. Speak on Pickett getting cooked. I mean, he gave up a couple plays here or there. He had a PI called on him. I don't know. I mean, Mike, were you desperately concerned about what DJ Pickett showed you today?
No.
I don't know that there's anything particularly awful.
No, he's not the only one. I mean, when Ole Miss has close to 500 yards of total offense, there's a little bit of everybody on every level of that defense that you can point the finger at a lot of people. Harold Perkins, the Weeks brothers,
right?
Yeah, PJ Woodland.
Boy, a lot of people are just already making mid-season coaching changes here in the comments.
Mathis with the face mask,
which I thought was incidental at first until the replay. I was like, oh, you got him good. Yeah, you got to throw that one. Do we bring in Napier and let him call offense? I'm not sure you want Napier calling offense. Go ahead and ask. Let me talk to. I did the Napier post game, and those media, they have no respect for Napier. In Gainesville, they cannot wait for that guy to pack it.
Believe me, their media are brutal on their coaches.
Well, they were pretty soft on him post game. In fact, one of the things I asked Napier about Coy Raymond, and I did it in a respectful manner, but I think that was a valid storyline to request about. And I actually had Florida fans commenting saying, hey, look, thank God an LSU media member attended because he actually had a spine or whatever. That tells me that, okay, according to some fans, at least, I think the media is being soft. But trust me, the conversation I heard when the press conference wasn't going on, those guys were brutal. What's the likelihood, and he's asking about Alex Adkins, he clarifies, takes over play calling from Sloan at any point this season? I think you'd have to. Yeah, I mean, Sloan would have to get fired mid-season, which how often do you see a coordinator get fired mid-season?
That's not happening.
It does happen, but
and by the way,
happening.
By the way, just going to throw this out there. And of course, this sounds kind of Les Miles era-ish. Don't be so sure that there isn't some meddling going on with Joe Sloan from BK, or Sloan being hamstrung.
Yeah,
a bit.
Can I give you my?
It's a joint problem by all the coaches.
Can I give you my hot take on head coach meddling with play calling? And it's more of a conceptual level. If your head coach getting involved with play calling makes your team worse, that's a pretty big problem. It's indicative of your head coach might not be the guy. Because ideally,
look, there's a reason why Denbrock left BK twice.
Ideally, when you pay a coach $10 million a year, he should be competent to call plays on at least one side of the ball, right? Because if he's not competent enough to do that, then you're always one bad coordinator hire away from 7-5. That's just a lingering threat. And at the pay scale that we're talking about for these SEC coaches and for the contract Brian Kelly earned, he should be more than capable of calling an offense if need be at a competent level. So that is my take on head coach meddling. Is if you're worried about head coach meddling, you should be worried about head coach.
All right, everybody. Stroubes, holy smoking. I'm starving right now. Look at that. Man, and I'm not even a fish guy, and I would nail that fish dish right there. But give me that cowboy ribeye to the right. Absolutely. Stroubes, get downtown. Really one of your premier steakhouses in all of Louisiana, 107 3rd Street. And again, locally owned and operated, USDA Prime Black Angus, the certified Wagyu New York strip, and a full steak menu that's out of this world. Great seafood items, the duck Louisiana, the black truffle lobster pasta. They've got it all for you. It's Stroubes. Again, one of our great sponsors. Please tell them TigerBait sent you in. Go to Stroubes.com. Look at their menu. And Stroubes steak and seafood and steaks. Great food. I could hammer that right now. All right, let's see. Preston.
I got a comment here.
Go ahead.
Ryan Dufour. Did Trades Green get a catch today? And no, the answer is no, but they did target him in the end zone, in which he didn't catch it again. And I will say this, I'm getting a little tired of seeing the incomplete Trades Green jump balls. I'm just getting a little sick of it. I mean, he can't jump over a guy who's covering him tightly. Now, maybe there's situations where he'll have a yard or two of separation and he'll be able to go above. But clearly, it doesn't matter how tall, how high he can jump. He cannot with consistency. We've seen it, 5, 6, 7 times this year, and he hasn't really come down with one where he's just mossing over the guy.
Yeah, we hammered that at the start of the show, Tiger Mark. That 2-point conversion. I don't know what the thought process was there. That was just awful. I don't know that you call that play. I mean, if you have Leonard Fournette in one of the best offensive lines in the last 25 years at LSU, that is a low percentage play. I mean, usually some of the best 2-point conversions, you've got some great trick plays. I mean, I'm thinking of some Boise State years ago and 2-point plays to win in overtime, and you've got all your wide receivers, and you're looking for a pick play of some sort. Not that. I just don't get it. All right, Preston, you think you want to add before we get out of here?
No, man. Let's enjoy the bye week. We'll be back Monday.
BK is up. Hold on, we got one more super chat. Dane Bergeron coming. This is the second time tonight Mike has mentioned Les Miles. He has finally owned up to being a Les Miles. Yeah, no. You know better than that.
Boy, I'll tell you when you sounded like a Les Miles fan was after they hired
I'm just having a little fun. I hear bags rattling in the kitchen, and I think that's some to-go meal, and I'm going to hammer whatever she went and got. Andy Whitaker, that 2-point call was one of the worst I've seen in a while, and you didn't even have Green on the field as a decoy. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Give Lane Kiffin a load of credit today, man. What he's done at Ole Miss, and what he did with Chambliss and that game he called today, I give him all the credit in the world. I think that's the difference. Do I think Blake Baker's defense can defend a dual threat quarterback? I do. But I think a lot of the other dual threat quarterbacks that LSU is going to face the rest of the year doesn't have Lane Kiffin calling the plays and running the offense. And look, I know he's got Charlie Weiss Jr. and all them as a part of it, but dude, he's knee deep in that game plan and getting that thing dialed in. All right. Y'all hit the like button. Please follow. Brian Kelly's presser is up on our YouTube channel. It's also up on our Facebook page, TigerBait.com. Brian Lazar's instant analysis is already up on TigerBait.com. Please go over and subscribe for $1. We'd love to have you as a new subscriber to TigerBait. We've got a lot of recruiting stuff coming your way this off week. We're probably going to even have some LSU baseball stuff this week. But we're going to dive deep into recruiting this week during the open date. And so please go to TigerBait and subscribe. We'd love to have you. Yeah, Mike Ole Miss, what was that, 2 weeks in a row? LSU played ABA last week in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, pretty funny stuff. By the way, I like the strategy of you don't want to see the show end, so keep on throwing us super chats so we don't get to end the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, some throwbacks, some 70s throwbacks, back-to-back weeks. I don't know the last time we saw that was.
All right, everybody. Great show. Preston, thanks so much. Preston's going to finish up his game story and have that up and out, and we'll tweak some things on our post-game stuff. But a lot of that stuff's already up and out for you. Hold on, let me see one more thing.
Got another super chat.
Go ahead, get it. I got a Garrett Nussmeyer clip coming as well.
TG01. Appreciate the show, guys. Thank you. No, thank you for watching, man. I appreciate you supporting us with a $20 super chat. It means a lot to me, guys.
Thank you. All right. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a good rest of the weekend as much as you can. I know a lot of LSU fans are hurting after this one tonight. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. And Preston will be back LSU Football Fix on Monday night. And Buddy, Sanjay, and I will be back Wednesday with TigerBait Live. And again, a lot of stuff on TigerBait.com next week. Good night, everybody.
Oh, boy.